hereby declare Chester Heritage Festival 2021 open! There are events in our wonderful cathedral today and until next Friday. Watch Heritage Skills at Work. Join tours led by the cathedral's stonemason or the curator of the library exhibition. Visit Chester Castle this weekend. Take a guided or self-guided tour. But, good people, do not forget that, for the first time ever, the festival also takes place on the World Wide Web. So, take virtual tours of our amphitheatre and along the canal. Follow the Millennium Trail through the city. Watch a movie telling the story of our celebrated railway engineer, Thomas Brassey. Join online talks on our history, the Civil War, Chester's workhouses, and the archaeology of the Northgate development. A special welcome to our younger audience. Find activities to do at home and when visiting Chester. So, today until Monday, 28th of June, be entertained, be enlightened, and enjoy the fabulous heritage of Chester. I do hereby declare Chester Heritage Festival 2021 open!
Anyone who's ever read The Mayor of Casterbridge will recall the first scene when the farm labourer Michael Henchard sells his wife Susan by auction at a country fair. Now that was a work of fiction, but surprisingly there are many recorded instances of wife sales that actually did happen in real life. And the reason was that up until the Matrimonial Causes Act of 1857, divorce was out of the question for anyone except the exceedingly wealthy. There are over 200 instances recorded historically in newspaper accounts, but there must have been many more instances that were never recorded. Now we're going to look at one particular instance that happened in the year 1832 and was recorded in the Times in these words. On Saturday, the 7th instant, the inhabitants of this city witnessed the sale of a wife by her husband, Joseph Thompson. She is a spruce, lively, buxom damsel, and appeared to feel a pleasure at the exchange she was about to make. Accordingly, the bellman was sent round to give public notice of the sale, which was to take place at 12 o'clock. This announcement attracted the attention of thousands. She appeared above the crowd on a large oak chair, surrounded by many of her friends. She was dressed in rather a fashionable country style and appeared to some advantage. The husband, who was also standing in an elevated position near her, proceeded to put her up for sale and spoke as follows.
Gentlemen, I have to offer to your notice my wife, Mary Ann Thompson, who I mean to sell to the highest and fairest bidder. Gentlemen, it's her wish as well as mine to part ways forever.
Yeah, no worries, no.
She has been only to me a bosom servant. I took her for my comfort and the good of my house, but she's become my tormentor, a domestic curse, a nightly invasion, and a daily devil. Gentlemen, I speak truth from my heart when I say, may God deliver us from troublesome wives and frolicsome widows. Avoid them the same as you would a mad dog, a roaring lion, a loaded pistol, cholera morbus, Mount Etna, and any other pestilential phenomena in nature. Now I've shown you the dark side of my wife and told you her faults and failings, I'll introduce the bright and sunny side of her and explain her qualifications and goodness. She can read novels and milk cows. She can make butter, scald the maid. She cannot make rum, gin or whiskey, but she's a good judge of their quality from long experience in tasting them. I therefore offer her with all her perfections and imperfections for the sum of 50 shillings.
The newspaper report concludes, after an hour or two she was purchased by one Henry Mears, a pensioner, for the sum of 20 shillings and a Newfoundland dog. The happy couple immediately left town together amidst the shouts and cheers of the multitude. Whether Joseph Thompson subsequently found happiness in the company of the Newfoundland dog has unfortunately not been recorded. Now, the important thing about these wife sales, there were certain characteristics that were believed to give legitimacy to the sale. It had to be agreed by mutual consent. It happened on market day, and the wife was led into the market with a straw halter by the husband, and a town crier or bellman was called in to officiate. Illustrations of funeral customs from this period are rare, and those that do exist are invariably of high-ranking individuals. However, the circumstances of the Great Plague of 1665 give rise to what is possibly a unique illustration of a funeral bellman in action. This illustration, copied from a woodcut, shows what could only be imagined from documentary accounts, a bellman officiating at a funeral. In this instance, he is clearly not announcing the time and place of the funeral beforehand, but is preceding the pallbearers to the burial. Although having a bellman announce a funeral was commonplace in some parts of Britain at this time, there are also exceptional features on show here caused by the fear of infection by the plague. The restrictions in place were uncannily similar to those we are experiencing now in the midst of the coronavirus pandemic. For example, the pallbearers are carrying red rods, warning folk to keep their distance to avoid the danger of infection. The plague regulations specified that buriers are not to pass the streets without holding a red rod or wand of 3 feet in length in their hands, open and evident to be seen. Similarly, there is no funeral procession for the same reason, as the authorities attempted, not always successfully, to prohibit them. The regulations specified, no neighbours nor friends be suffered to accompany the corpse to church. Everything that we have so far discovered about the funeral bellman has largely been forgotten, but there is one announcement made by the bellman during the period of the Great Plague for which he is still popularly remembered. This announcement was made during the night when bodies were collected in dead carts. Daniel Defoe, in his book Journal of the Plague Year, makes several references to this grim procedure, such as, the watchman stopped the dead cart and then knocked again, but nobody answered. He continued knocking, and the bellman called out several times, bring out your dead. For centuries, the funeral bellman's doleful toll would have been a familiar sound, but today he is as forgotten as the many souls whose departures he announced. Nor was there anyone left to toll his passing. So, rest in peace, funeral bellman.